I am sick of this ugly shelf. It had been outside, but I brought it in here when a hurricane was coming through, and it's lived here ever since. Look, it doesn't even work in this position. Today, I'm going to replace it with nicer built-in shelves. Ignore the disgusting paint job on that door. I'll be mimicking the design of the shelves I'd built a while back for my loft space. I want to build some more of these up here too, but that'll be another day. I got the design from annawhite.com, and that's the URL down there at the bottom of the screen, and I'll also put it in the video's description. If you look at the design here, you'll see it's pretty simple. It's built using nothing but 2x4 wall studs. To fit this particular space, I'll need 4 vertical support beams, 8 horizontal beams to hold the shelves, 4 on each side, and 16 beams to make up 4 shelves, 4 to each shelf. I already measured things ahead of time as a sanity check. The upright beams will be 6 feet tall, the shelf support beams will be 17 inches long, and I have a 3 foot 1/4 inch width span in my space, so each shelf should be that long. Also, I'll need a little bit of hardware. 32 2.5 inch drywall screws for the shelf supports, 2 per beam per side, and 32 2-inch drywall screws for the shelves, 1 per beam per side. So just how many 2x4s will I need for this? Well, if I'm getting 8-foot beams and I can get 2 shelf pieces out of a single beam, that's going to require 8 beams. Of those 8 beams, I'll be left with 8 23-inch remainder pieces, which I can cut down to 17 inches for the shelf supports, so I don't need any additional beams for those. Then for the upright beams at 6 feet, I'll need 4 more. So 12 beams total is all I'll need for this. Now, I did that math when I wrote the script here, which unfortunately was after I built the shelf. See, I'm going to end up actually using 13 beams because I had one sitting around that I just picked up and started cutting for the shelf supports. Well, let's get to it. I'll start by measuring and cutting the upright beams. Don't forget to factor in the width of your saw blade. Next, I'll cut down the shelf supports. And finally, the shelf beams. There's a lot of these. Now it's time to assemble 2 identical frames to go on either side of the shelves. I'll be marking lines at 5 1/4 inch, 26 3/4 inch, 48 1/4 inch, and 69 3/4 of an inch. Then I'll mark 2 drill points at 3/4 of an inch from the top and bottom of each of these lines. This will be done for all the upright beams. Then I need to drill holes all the way through. If you put a piece of wood underneath where you're drilling, you won't splinter out the back like I did here. What can I say? I'm lazy. Now I'm going to attach the shelf supports with these. I'm just going to eyeball it so that the center of the support beam is about centered over my guide line. Then I drill in a 2.5 inch screw through the upright beam and into the support beam, repeating for each hole on each support. Once they're all in, I'll flip it over and do the process again with the other upright beam. Once you're done, you do all this over again for the other side of the frame. Excellent. I have 2 identical frames now. It's time to put these into place. As I put the shelves on them, they'll stand up better. The final step here is to secure the shelf beams to the shelf supports. For this, I'll again be eyeballing the placement of the shelf beams so that they're about equally spaced apart. Then I'll put a pilot hole in the approximate center over that support, followed by a 2-inch screw to secure it. 32 screws later, and we're done. That looks so much nicer than what I had before, and it only took about 3 hours of labor. You might be curious what this cost. The price of 2x4s actually went up on me. It's over $4 for a beam at Home Depot today. I remember 2 years ago it was like $3.11. I also had to buy a new box of 2.5 inch screws, so after tax this whole project came out to about $62, excluding labor. Honestly, it's a little pricier than I'd like, and there are probably easier to assemble shelving units out there for about the same or less, but if you want it done right, perfectly fitting your space, you've got to pay that premium. Well, that's all I've got for today. If you want to see more content like this, and some that isn't, be sure to subscribe.